How's it going, everyone? Dave Dustin here. This video is going to be all about Commando Comics. Right here is Commando Comics. I just got this a week ago. I had made a video of the unboxing when I got this mail call, and I'm going to give everyone a nice close-up view of the story. It's only like a 5-page long story, but it is so extremely rare that most people have probably never seen this story before. I always love finding a new story, something that I've never read. So here's something that pretty much nobody in the world has ever read. And it's really awesome. I didn't know this when I got it until after I read it the next day. But it actually features a story involving Toronto, Canada. Back in, like, whenever this was published, there's no dates. It was somewhere between 1947 and 1950, somewhere in that time that these were published, and it features Toronto, Canada. And this hero it's gotta be the first foreign comic character to have an adventure in Toronto, Canada. It's got to be. Like, this is so early in the 1940s, and it's a Scottish character. These are Scottish Comics, cartoon art productions. See on my rack, these are all cartoon art production books, all from the 40s and 50s, from Glasgow, Scotland. And it's just a really awesome story. So I'll give you all a close-up view. I'm going to just stop on each page, so that way you can take screenshots, you can pause the video and read the story yourselves, because probably nobody out there has ever seen this story. This book was not even really known to exist. It's not in the catalog. Dennis Gifford's book from back in the 80s, it wasn't listed. It's nowhere found on the internet. There's no photos. It's not listed anywhere. It's not listed as even existing on the Grand Comic database. So give everyone a nice in-depth view into this and let you all see the story. It's a really cool story about the world being taken over, and the war has come to Canada now. Before that, I just want to quickly go back, review my last mail call. There's just a couple little updates real quick. So I found out that this here Classic Comics, the Canadian edition, this is actually 1946. I said it was 1944. The original was 1943. They all have the same date. When you look in the indicia on the first page, it says August 16th, 1943. That's when it was entered as second-class matter at the post office, Ottawa, Canada, printed in Canada. I had seen one online, and it had, this is the only way you know the date is how high the high order reorder number is on it. So this goes up to number 28. So the American editions were up to number 28 when this was printed, and that was at the time was in 1946. So this is from the 1946 Gilberton series. It is actually listed on the Grand Comic database, the series 1946. This book is not pictured yet, but the series is listed, so it's 46, not 44. Still really awesome piece of Canadian history there. First full horror comic. And a little update on this. Spellbound magazine. There's a front cover, really awesome back cover. I like that even better. It's online. I've had some people speak to me and said that perhaps it is a British original painting, perhaps by Dennis McLaughlin. Haven't confirmed anything yet of if it was used anywhere else. That's the back cover. There's the front cover. Here's something really neat. I've never had this before. I'm gonna go over this. My next mail call. I've got a few more comics coming from the same seller, Mariel over there in the UK. I got 4 more books coming in another mail call. So when I get those, I'll go over this book again also as part of that same collection. And it's been figured out that this is actually, it's remaindered American comics that have been rebound and resold in the UK. Now I've heard of this, of American comics being the remainder comics that were unsold, the covers were removed and they were shipped over, used as ballast on ships, and then they were resold in the UK. They just sell them coverless real cheap over there, or else there's stories that they would make these false covers. They used to make covers over there, publishers in the UK, and they'd resell the American comics inside their own covers, which I had never seen until now, but it's been deduced, and I'll go over to my next mail call of the differences and how it was figured out. But the comics inside, it's 3 full comics that are all American comics inside. And this company, Cartoon Arts Productions, put their own cover wrap around these remainder American comics and then sold it for 2 shillings. I'll go over all that in my next video, and I'll show you all the reasons why this is a remainder comic. There's a whole bunch of reasons when you look at it that you know it's not original. Give you one idea. Here's the other Spellbound magazine. 68 pages. It's all in black and white. It's got like 1 full comic and then multiple stories from multiple other comics. And it's got an ad on the back. This is a standard 50s British horror comic, the way that this is set up. I don't know of cartoon art ever having any other book that was 100 pages or any other book that's 2 shillings. It's a strange price. That's a strange amount of pages for them to use. 3 full comics, all in color, and the coloring is a lot nicer than anything that they had ever printed in Glasgow, Scotland. Or they got a lot of their books also, not most, but sort of like a bunch of their books also published in Ireland. Or it'll say made in Republic of Ireland. The older ones will say made in Erin, and that's Irish for Ireland. So they would get them printed both places, but they would not have such nice coloring. There's a bunch of reasons you can tell that this is 3 separate books inside, American Remainder Comics, with a cover put over top that has, this is actually the front cover here. This is from the text story inside. It's a spot illustration and text story, and they use that. And that might be an original. But yeah, Remainder Comics that were rebound and resold. I have heard of this. I have never actually seen any. There's been some Canadian comics that were accused of this, but no, it's Century Superior Comics back when they first started in the 40s and even into the early 1950s. They put mismatched covers on their comics. It's ridiculous. I don't know why, but they would put covers on that had nothing to do with the interiors. You never knew what comic you were getting inside, and that's what they did with a whole bunch of their comics, like all their comics, just about. And they shipped them over there, but they were published here in Canada. The wrong covers put on intentionally, and then shipped over there to the UK to be sold. This was American Comics sent coverless to the UK, and then a UK publisher, Cartoon Arts in Scotland, got these American comics and put their own cover on and sold it out there. So that's really neat. I've never seen one of these before. Back to Commando Comics. So I'm going to take a real close look at this and show you all the story inside. I'll just talk a little bit about a couple of little points, and I'll let you all just see it for yourself. It's really awesome. Let me get a closer look. I'll just tilt the camera the other way. Okay. Oh, no, I can't. So there is Commando Comics, 3D price. Featuring Commando Car and First of the Last Stands. Captoon. That's fantastic. There's the first 2-page splash. So when you zoom in, Commando Car. Starting on the world's strongest nation, Zorro, the Lord of Tien, has conquered over 4/5 of the world. Like many, Zorro had underestimated the recovery of the British Empire, and his pygmy hordes sweep across Russia, Europe, and the Americas. Britain and the Empire stand alone in his path of world conquest. Commando Car, freelance troubleshooter, knows more about the pygmies than any man alive. Toronto is in danger. Zorro still advancing. The same everywhere. He's got to be stopped. And it just goes on from there. Like I said, Toronto is in danger. That's real awesome. It mentions Toronto in this book that was somewhere around 1947 to 1950. So there's no dates in here. Takes a secret formula, makes him shrink in size. Right there, Commando is equipped with a small parachute and flown by plane to Canada to be dropped near the HQ of the Lord of Tien. The next 2 pages. Look at them a bit closer. Miniature robot tanks. That's not very original. There must be more in this than meets the eye. I'll go see. That's funny. They figure out he's wearing a disguise. Here's a final page of the story. Then it mentions Canada some more. So you think you can stop me from taking the secret of the heat ray back to Canada? Huh, just you try. As the pygmy behind him makes the bayonet thrust, the reducing formula ceases to work and saves Commando's life. So then he goes back to normal size and he runs away. Makes it out. There you go again. Once clear of the enclosure, Commando makes his way by secret route back to Canada. And then the final text box here. So with the help of some quickly copied immunity boxes, which were only small refrigerators to balance the body's heat, Zorro's forces suffer their first defeat, and the British Empire make a step to the end. And this is really neat too. There's an ad here on the final page. It's a house ad by cartoon art. It's drawn by Dennis Malcolm Reeder. He's the one who did all the superhero stuff. So this would have been from Super Duper Comics, these characters, Power Man. And they're talking to the kids. And it's the superhero talking to the kids. That's really cool to have that backed in to engage the audience like that. You know, I get pushed around a lot by this artist fellow, so I've thought around things and decided, why not give you boys and girls a chance to sling me into an adventure or two? And you write in, it's got 141 Bath Street, Glasgow. Then it's also asking the girls who read the adventures, sure, you've met me, Starlight Rand. I often help Power Man in his crime-smashing exploits. Here's what I want you to do. How would you like to see me wearing some of the dresses you have designed? It's asking the girls to design some dresses. Showing them some examples. Then it's got a different address there, 333 Victoria Road, Glasgow. I'm not sure if where you write into at the Bath Street was like their main office, and the Victoria Road was where they printed the books. And they had two addresses. So some comics have one of the addresses, one have the other address, and some of them have both addresses. Maybe they were just between addresses at the time. That's what kind of makes it hard to date these things, though. There's no dates on any of these books. If you look at the last page here, too, also, just a Professor Adams story. I'm not going to read that, but you can if you like. That's neat. So anyway, best you can figure, it's got a 3D price. So you come over here to my rack. Here's all a bunch of cartoon art, Russian stuff. I got everything there from Acromade to Zippy, everything in between. The other comics, like Buster, that Super Duper, you see they're all just using red and blue color. Acromade, G-Boy, Zippy. So it's around that time. Those are dated online. People have dated them to like 1947. I think that Super Duper there has 1948 year on it. There's a couple comics that actually have a year. The closer would be the Acromade. This is the only one that also has a 3D price. It's Acromade Comics. So it probably came out around the same time as Acromade. That's dated online as 1950 with a question mark. So nobody really knows. It might be 1947, 48, 49. It's in there somewhere. It's about that time that this Commando Comics came out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time.